The idea began on a cliff-lined shore of Powell Lake, British Columbia in February 2002. Weyerhaeuser's Stillwater division owned a stand of timber located about 1,000 feet upon a hillside across the water from Beartooth Peak. Building a road to harvest the timber was not an option due to the onerous costs and detrimental aesthetic and environmental effects it would have on the resort wilderness area. A feller buncher was decided to be the preferable alternative for processing the standing timber, but a larger question remained on just how to get it up there. It was time to use a big helicopter to rise above the challenge. The S-64 air crane helicopter has demonstrated a long history of performing a variety of aerial heavy lift construction and timber harvesting. Since 1971, the S-64 has been flown to accomplish thousands of miles of power lines, equipment installation on the tallest skyscrapers, 1,000-foot tall broadcast towers, oil rig support in the deepest part of the jungle, and airlifting objects of special significance. Canadian Air Crane, a subsidiary of Erickson Air Crane, located in British Columbia, has been flying the S-64 in high-powered, low-impact heli-harvesting operations since 1993. Innovative thinking and a can-do attitude has resulted in some of the latest advances in aerial timber harvesting technology to date. The S-64 features two Pratt & Whitney turbine engines generating up to 4,500 shaft horsepower, 6 fully articulated main rotor blades and 4 tail rotor blades beat the air into submission and give the helicopter a lift capacity of up to 25,000 pounds. The Finning Caterpillar TK1162 timber processor was chosen to fall and bunch the over 3.3 million board feet of timber at the Beartooth cut block. The Timber King was disassembled with the help of a special steel frame, or jig, outfitted with hydraulic rams and an electric winch crane. Both track sections were unbolted and separated with help from the jig hydraulic system. The same hydraulic system lowered the car body as specially designed support beams kept all sections separate while sitting on the frame. Once the processor was safely disassembled and secured, the sections were loaded onto a barge along with fuel, tools, and miscellaneous consumables. The processor was loaded onto the barge as 7 pieces, including the jig frame, track sections, cab, boom, and processor head. The following day, the barge was floated out to the picturesque cliff face directly below the cut block. The set site, where the helicopter would deposit the steel jig and processor sections, was cleared and prepared. Dunnage blocks were placed at the set points of the jig to ensure a level surface for reassembly of the machine. Starting with the steel jig, the S-64E air crane lifted each piece of the TK-1162 off of the barge and fitted them onto the steel frame template. The entire airlift lasted 58 minutes. After all 7 pieces were airlifted to the remote cut block, 2 mechanics began using the hydraulic rams on the steel jig to pull together and reassemble the TK-1162. Eight working hours later, the fully operational processor crawled off the jig frame and began falling, delimbing, and sizing timber from the bare-tooth cut block. Two weeks later, the S-64 came back to Beartooth 634 to begin hauling log bundles into cordoned areas of the lake designated as log landings. An improved hydraulic grapple system allowed the air crane to transport an average of 54,000 board feet of wood per flight hour. Even as the TK-1162 was finishing the bundling task, the air crane pulled log bundles up and over the cliff to the landing zone. The air crane bundle hauling concept has surpassed all expectations in regards to speed and efficiency. The Beartooth processor airlift model has proven to effectively double the efficiency rating of air crane timber harvesting operations. The boundaries of conventional helicopter timber harvesting are dissolving. Forward-thinking and progressive attitudes are changing the direction of high-performance, low-impact timber harvesting as companies like Canadian Air Crane and Weyerhaeuser are rising above the challenge.